It's Australia's biggest festival of gaming and gaming culture with way more than you can fit into a weekend. Hey, I'm the K-Man and we're back at PAX Aus. This year we decided to drive down to Melbourne and take the train the rest of the way in, which is where we stayed again for 4 nights so we could make the most of PAX and get to some of their early sessions. Yeah, 10 AM's early for a gamer, although on the first day I did get in an hour earlier.
Who's first time at PAX? That's a lot. What is that, like 20-25% of you all? Thank you very much for taking the plunge. There's so much to do and see. I honestly can't get to it all.
I once again went on a content creators badge, which gave me and a bunch of other content creators and media an hour early access so we could see a rather uncharacteristically empty PAX. With the intention being that we could get a bit of an idea about what's going on, get closer to the displays and go and interview a few people. With the lack of crowds, also probably a good time to sit down and, play a few games on the computers and consoles and the classic gaming. Maybe even, hit up something that I haven't really played before, like the pinball machines. Yeah, there was lots to see, even in just that hour with hardly anyone there. And by hardly anyone there, I guess it's really in comparison because it was still quite lively in the expo hall.
Guys, we're doing Mario Kart World Knockout Tour tournaments all throughout the weekend. We're giving away golden peach medallions to the winners.
Like past years, Nintendo was also giving some stuff away outside of the tournaments. And there were some pre-release games that you could play. Anyway, it wasn't too long until it was time for everyone waiting in the queue hall to come and flood the expo hall. As cool as it was seeing everyone coming on in, I decided it was probably a nice time to go out and grab some brekkie and check out some of the currently quieter parts of PAX. With plenty of spaces to chill downstairs and upstairs where all sorts of stuff was already happening and a setup ready and waiting for it all to happen. Refreshed and ready for more, I went to one of the gatherings that happen at PAX, the ANZ Creators Meet and Greet, where I was also able to meet up with a few people I already knew, and we went on and checked out a few different panels, starting with an old school RuneScape panel, and then off to what was probably a highlight of my time at PAX.
I actually am Shrek.
What have you done, Donkey?
It was a Shrek trivia competition, raising money for the Black Dog Institute, with everyone dressed for the occasion and having to eat onions if someone donated $200. Then I left them to go and kick off a live stream of the PAX Expo Hall, looking much more lively now that everyone's here. Somehow managed to navigate all the way from one end of the Expo Hall to the other, where PAX Rising was with all the Australian independent games. A bit of esports happening, and back to the classic gaming.
Love that they've got that right next to all the pinball machines.
Ha, classic. They also run tournaments here, and it's just, I don't know, just a good place to just sort of chill and maybe have a good old chat. Which was a nice break before heading off to do another lap of the expo hall.
That's something I don't think I've done, played any of the Nintendo games. And that's why there's always a line.
Before I know it, it's expo hall closing time, and also time for me to go grab some dinner across the river and rest up for day 2. As day 2 of PAX is a Saturday, it is the first day which sells out and often the most busiest. So normally I spend more time in the expo hall on Fridays and Sundays, and Saturday is just the perfect time to go to the panels and check out some of them. Last year we had a panel celebrating 30 years of the PlayStation, and this year's was celebrating 25 years of the PlayStation 2. Even though my nostalgia for the PlayStations is rather limited as never owning one myself, I still find these quite entertaining. Got myself some content creation tips on how to make some successful short videos. I got to witness the Art Arena Showdown, the ultimate creative battle where professional artists put their skills to the shared canvas and sometimes to the test in rather creative ways. While they did the art specified by the audience and the compere, this bit of art was inspired by an event that happened during the panel, a false alert fire alarm which evacuated the expo hall. You could play a game of finding the QR codes, which would have got you a pin if you managed to find them all in time. Plenty of stuff available at the PAX merch. Mind you, why not just wander around and see what you can get chucked at you, or for something a bit more civilized, enter in a competition for which there were plenty of to choose from. Some stands were a bit more creative than others, with a Winter Wonderland for Cult of the Lamb, and yeah, various different examples of boxes for the Xbox stand. It probably was worth doing a few extra laps of the expo floor on the other days, because you know, you might see something that you hadn't seen beforehand, or a friend that you might have otherwise missed. I would like to try this on. It's life-size power armor and even more racing rigs. And again, the expo hall is closed and it's time to go and grab us some dinner to eat. Although it's not all closed at PAX, because if you go to the theatres, you can still catch a few things happening, or just, you know, chill like we did back at the hotel watching it on the live stream. It's the final day and a rather overcast day, and somehow, even though I've been averaging about 14,000 steps per day, I still have enough energy to go and wander around the expo hall a few more times at least. I reckon a nice slowdown activity would be to go and play one of the tabletop games. There's plenty of choice in the library, and best of all, it's all included in your ticket. Lots of stands where you could just sort of chill and, you know, check out some of the gear, play some of the games on them, and maybe do a little bit of shopping around the expo hall. Pokeball terrariums, comic books, and your favorite Disney characters from Star Wars to Mickey Mouse. Do a little bit of archery in the Sims stand. Items from Doom Dark Ages were on display with a rather nicely lit PC. The original Doom in its box, as well as some other games. Cool to see Prince of Persia and the floppy disks. 80s computers from Japan, the Sharp X1 and the MSX. And just chilling alongside them is a Mountain Dew original Xbox. With beautiful CRTs and Atari, Amiga 600, Acorn Archimedes, an IBM PC, and some relatively more modern PCs. Lots more boxed console games and a rather nice Pokemon Nintendo 64. In fact, now looking back at the footage, there was a whole bunch of stuff I filmed, but it wasn't really until now that I realized what I was looking at. It's Apple's console, the Apple Pippin. I'm just so grateful that a whole bunch of collectors have come together and let us see parts of their collection here on display. Now that I've done my umpteenth lap of classic gaming, it's time to see what else retro stuff I can find here at PAX. Some of the controllers here look quite retro inspired with a bit of beige even. And one of the PAX Rising games which was displayed on a actual CRT. It's almost overwhelming how many games you get to choose from in PAX Rising to go and try out. I tend to find my strategy ends up being whatever has a cat in it. That's just sort of, I guess, how it is with these huge conventions. You kind of need to be able to duplicate yourself to see everything, or maybe just get around really fast. Time to go find myself a seat, or more so be ushered in by the excellent enforcers. On the main stage, we got to see the Cosplay Central Crown Championship, where the competitors from across Australia were showcasing their incredible craftsmanship, competing for the title of Crown Champion and the chance to represent Australia on the global stage. Really cool stuff. I went to hear how retro games shaped some of today's creators, and the last thing to see on the main stage was the final event of PAX Aus 2025, the Omegathon finale.
It didn't come up before, but oh no, it is poison cloud, so stinky. And of course, thanks to you for believing in the show, coming back every year. I can't wait to see you again next year. See you around.
And that is year 5 for me of PAX Aus done and dusted. You can find an edited version of my live stream of the PAX Aus Expo floor up on my alt channel. I do a bunch of retro gaming related stuff up on this channel. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, and most of all, thanks for watching.